We on?
Yes.
Good morning, afternoon or night, depending on where you are. This is meant to be a fairly quick one, and I'm going to try and see if I can maintain that, which is probably unlikely. Evan showed me some readouts of the Schumann resonance recently that have caused a lot of interest, haven't they, Evan?
Yeah. Do you want me to get some images up on the screen?
Yeah, please, if you could. He's going to put up some images on the screen right now. And what's interesting about the images he puts up, and I think he's going to put one up now, is when you look at the images, you've got the normal sort of blue markings for different types of resonance of the Schumann resonance. Then all of a sudden it turns into this weird set of patterns that have never happened before. And Evan will go through a few of those pictures now. There's a close-up of the patterns there. And then even further, what's interesting is you've got the black sections before and after where it's gone off the scale. You've got the normal reading, and in the middle,
You've also got a little blackout here between the two.
Yeah, between the two, where real the severe, sort of very geometric blackout, then it comes up with that. Now, I believe there are two different places to do the Schumann resonance, Ukraine and Russia. Is that correct?
Don't quote me on that, but I think,
Yeah.
one's definitely Russia.
And we thought, anyway, we're not 100% sure. And somebody's put up the fact that when you look at those two, that sort of patterning, two things come up.
You got that one there, which is the Merkaba, and you've got that one there, which is the Christos, the fish.
The fish. Now, what's interesting about that, and there's also, you're going to play an audio clip, are you, Evan?
Yes.
Okay, we'll play that now.
I've embedded it in the system, so there's a bit of volume that way. So
okay,
bear with me.
Yeah, well, while he's playing that, I want you to think about the fact that we've never seen that type of patterning taking place, and I believe we're going to hear it in a sec, which is quite interesting. Here we go. So now what I find interesting is in this story is the naysayers, and this is what happens all the time on social media, because you can get away with saying anything. And there are about three different immediate responses. Number one, that it's due to a machine malfunction. Right now, this Russian, or wherever it's Russian, Ukraine, we're not 100% sure. But what's fascinating is, how would the person know that it's a malfunction in the machinery of the people that are putting this out, unless they went and inspected it and checked it? Now, how would you know that? You couldn't know it. There's just no way possible.
Well, I mean, I have an app on my phone, and I mean, I would figure if there was something wrong, they would tell me.
Yeah,
because it's.
And the people who are doing this, and there's only a couple that do it, and you'll notice it's not being done in Europe, it's not being done in America, they won't touch it. If there was a malfunction, the first thing you'd wonder, well, if it is a malfunction, they would be aware of it, wouldn't they? So why would they put it out? Now, what would you gain by putting that out if it's just basically a malfunction or something they've done deliberately? Now, the second thing they've said is that there's two ways of measuring the Schumann resonance.
I think amplitude and frequency.
Yeah. Now, one, they measure it starts around a 0.3, and the other one is around 7. So they're measuring on a difference. Rabbits have opened up the door again, Evan.
It's not a ghost.
They measure different ways of measuring this, and therefore, because it didn't show up on one way of measuring, bearing in mind they're not the same, that doesn't confirm or deny anything. It just means that there's two different types of machines that work on a different way of measuring and come up with a different base. Now, the fact that on one of those two, nothing showed up, doesn't mean any more than the fact that they measure in a different way, and maybe that didn't pick it up. So we're still left with the same thing. We're left with the possibility, and because people have jumped in straight away and says, oh, no, it's a machine malfunction, or no, if it was real, it would have happened on both. What you're assuming is that somehow or other you are privy to knowledge about the group that put this out, and you're aware of what they've done and how they do it. And I don't believe anyone, bar the people involved, knows that. So why should we take notice of that? Well, because there's corroborating evidence. The corroborating evidence is this, that the indigenous people, be it the Hopi, be it the Cherokee, be it the Inuit, be it the original people, have all said that the earth is ascending and the earth is changing. And we've always been told in all of these stories that humans are the only animals on this planet that are not worthy already at the moment to ascend and become part of this. And what is the earth doing? It's doing everything it can via the Schumann resonance to lift up our resonance. Now, I believe what we're looking at there is a ramping up of what the earth is doing to try and ready us. Now, yes, if you go around, and I've noticed we've been talking about this a lot, if in Australia at the moment, the one thing that's become really obvious is the fact that everyone seems to be falling sick, don't they? We're getting that feedback. I went down to Sydney and virtually got sick straight away there. The guy that was with me got sick.
You've never had a flu your whole life.
I've never been sick in the whole of my life. And we're finding out that everyone is getting ill at the moment. Their bodies are starting to sort of fall apart. We're falling into sickness and falling out of it. And I believe what's happening is right now, the earth is preparing us to find out who of us have a resonance that will be able to accept the resonance of the Schumann resonance when it finally hits its top level and stays there forever. Everyone around the planet, not all of them are locked into the ceremony we went to 3 years ago, but people are saying this in so many different ways, that the earth is changing and there's a change that's coming. That being the case, it's possible that wherever this machine is, that it didn't work properly. Then why did they put this out? What would they gain financially from that, Evan, if they put it out? Do they get more money?
No, well, you would assume I think I spend $1.99 on the app. If they put out a malfunction, then people would less likely get the app, wouldn't they? Because
it's a malfunction.
It's a malfunction. So I don't see how that benefits them. But looking through, I've got a little comment stream in the Facebook group there, which I've just put up. But yeah, there's all sorts of different opinions. But there's a lot of people talking about freak weather, and interpersonally how they felt during that time period. Of course, there are plenty of people saying it's a malfunction. But then I thought, even if it was, it's probably not a bad exercise in preparing ourselves for what's coming anyway, because something's coming, and yeah, you can kind of feel it, right? So I can't see how it hurts.
And I also want to make the point, the people who claim it's a malfunction, would you put up the evidence, please?
Yeah,
they've put up the evidence of what they read.
I'd love to see something like, oh, sorry, we had a malfunction from the people that are operating
because they'd know this is taking place, wouldn't they?
But there's a lot of people saying, oh, well, yeah, I've heard. I went, from who?
Yeah.
From where?
Who are the people who've given you the information that makes you believe this is now not true? How do you know that? Where is the empirical evidence? Now, these guys are presenting empirical evidence, and by now they would have known there'd been this discussion, and by now if there was a malfunction, they probably could have looked at the machine and said, oh, my God, there was one. We better tell people. Because they've been putting this out for quite some time, haven't they? Forever. Yeah, they keep putting it out. And the first time it changes in some way,
I'm just looking at mine now.
everyone becomes an expert that says, no, I should know about this because I built the machine. No, you didn't. You didn't build the machine. You didn't work the machine. You aren't part of the group that does that. If there is a malfunction, wouldn't that be the province of the people who were involved in making the malfunction? And now that people have said this, couldn't they have then put it out to maintain their credibility? Otherwise, people are going to say, well, I'm not going to believe this anymore because it's not working properly. You believed it before when it came out with patterns you were familiar with. No one said that was a malfunction, did they?
Yeah, when it was spiking and everyone's like, oh, wow.
Oh,
feel
yeah,
this
spiking.
way.
What does
There's
that
a
mean?
massive spike.
Yeah,
I've got
yeah.
ringing in the ears or
Okay,
whatever.
so no problem
So that's
when
fine.
Yeah, when it went off the page completely, no one said, oh, no, it's a malfunction. Now that it's changed its pattern, you alone, the people who've said, no, this is a malfunction, you've become the judge, jury, and executioner in saying, well, I know all about this. No, you don't. You don't know all about it. We don't know all about it either. It is possible it could be a malfunction, but I would say to you, if it is, let the people who've been broadcasting this and analysing that, let them have the right to reply first. And to my knowledge, they haven't written back and said, yes, no, we made a mistake. We want to let everyone know. Actually, what happened was a mouse came in and it ran around the machine.
Well, maybe it chewed a cord.
Could have chewed a cord.
Or maybe they have rabbits too.
Rabbits that open the door. Could have been that.
Yep.
They could have told them, but since you are listening and you're watching and looking at this readout, I think it's only fair before you determine what caused it, and why it was caused like that. Could you at least give the people involved the chance to say, we've done some research on this, and that patterning goes for quite a few hours, doesn't it?
Yeah, it goes on for a while. Just looking at the history.
Looks like it goes on for about more than 24 hours on my count there. So I would...
Monday into Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then...
Monday into Tuesday.
Then there's a blackout late Tuesday into Wednesday.
Right, so we've got 2 days where this is going on, and they would have been putting this out and looking at it during that period of time when that was happening over...
Oh, gee, we had some massive spikes yesterday as well.
Wow, they're huge.
Yeah. All
right, so the spikes, we're okay with that. But because the pattern is new and you don't understand it, the first thing you do as a cynic is to find a way of dismissing it. But you've got no proof. You've got absolutely no proof in saying that, except to say, we don't believe it's real. Well, I want to make another point and add to it. Why is it recently I've got all of the artifacts here, which are part of the change, have directed us, and they did, to put on a major workshop that's coming up in a week and a bit, isn't it, Evan? Mm-hmm. And it's more a ceremony than anything else. In fact, it's more a ceremony than a workshop.
There you go.
And what's that?
Oh, I've just flushed up.
Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't know what had happened. I thought something new turned up. They made the point that the people that will be giving ceremony to, this is meant as a preparation and to ready and steady your DNA, genetic DNA, which is what this is all about. Now, ladies and gentlemen, very quickly, what we want to say to those people who've decided they know this is wrong, it's a mistake, it's either been bogusly created or the machinery is broken. It was broken for days, for God's sake. They would have seen that readout and said, well, what's this? You think they would have checked the computers and checked what was going on before they put it out? Because it went on for over a day.
With a small blackout before and a large blackout afterwards.
Yeah, that interesting straight sort of geometric blackout went completely then locked into that, and then the next day and a half continued. So if you don't want to believe it, all I can say to you is, if you don't want to believe it, I don't think you're going to be staying. You've got to open yourself up to this. And if you
Yeah.
can't open yourself up to it, and if you want to find something, and somebody made a point there, the patterns are too perfect to be a glitch. It is interesting how it's a repetition of a couple of shapes time after time after time. It's not just haze and marks running in different directions. It's very precise. It's geometric. So this glitch is a real precise, well put together series of patterns that repeat itself, but it's just a blur, a mistake. Well, if you believe that, that's your choice. But if you want and you do believe that the change is taking place and it's coming from the earth, wouldn't this be normal? Wouldn't this be what you expect? So, ladies and gentlemen, what I would suggest to you is look, this is a sign. The Hopi told us, and remember, they are the great keepers of the prophecy. They told us the blue kachinas are here, they've come. And they said that the change will be there. You will see it. And if you don't see it, it's because you don't want to see it. I can tell you that, as I said, too, it's a week and a half from now, from those people who are coming and those who might want to come, this is preparation. What we will also be doing is I am asking Mesref on our next online conference, which is on next week, which you've got over a day to look at. You don't have to watch it straight away. We are going to ask Mesref, is this something that is a mistake, or is it the earth itself in the next form of healing? And I believe this is what it's about. The earth wants us to stay, but knows that the only way we can stay is if we earn the right. And if we get our DNA and our headspace in order. For those who are straight away look for a fault, look for an error, you're not ready. Stop looking for mistakes and start looking at yourself.
Well, as I like to say, stop worshipping the deity Skeptica, the god of skeptics.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I see people holding on to that as hard as any other fundamental religion. Like everything can be explained away. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how straight away it's like a knee-jerk reaction. Like, it can't be right. I know better. Actually, nobody knows better. There's not a soul on this planet that knows better except the planet. And the planet's job is to wake us up. And what it's doing is just that. Now, if you don't want to accept that, well, obviously, don't come to our workshop and ceremonial thing next week. Please don't come.
Yeah, don't.
Because nothing's worthwhile is going to happen there. Don't come if you aren't open to this.
See, the people that hold on to skepticism as hard as they do, a little bit's fine, but come on. What's going to happen, right? We're going to bottleneck knowledge into a very small stream. And then what's going to happen then? Will there be innovation? No. Progress will stagnate. And then all the while they'll be like, aren't we awesome? Look what we've done. I mean, you've held us back, basically.
Well, what I'm going to say in closing, and we're supposed to be short on this one, is this. That the earth is giving us signs. It's waking us up. It's leaving us patterns. We don't know how it's happened. Mesref is clear. This is part of the change. Well, I think the change is ramped up. I believe this is a new stage, and I believe things are getting closer. And I don't believe it's a coincidence that all the artifacts said, get people to sit with us, and we're going to do 4 different ceremonies, and it's going to take probably half of our presentation for the people to go through these ceremonies. The other things we do just add to it. This is very important right now, ladies and gentlemen. So my point is this. The earth has spoken. Can you hear it? And if you can't, well, good luck, because there's nothing more that can be done. The earth is trying its hardest to wake us up and to reactivate our genes.
There are signs up there. There's signs down there.
And there's signs everywhere. Yeah. So it's up to you. It's up to you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, for those who are joining us on the weekend for the online conference, come and join us. And those who want to come further, there still are some spots available, but it's entirely up to you. But in the meantime, remember one thing. The earth is making a statement. Start listening.
Okay. See you all very soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.